We are live here with Deon Gibson, writer, director, producer extraordinaire
Most of the
from
time.
the Bahamas. He's a
Yes.
native of the Bahamas, which is
Well,
totally awesome.
thank you.
Prayers up for everyone in the Bahamas that has been affected by the hurricane. Definitely want to acknowledge that and send prayers and good thoughts out to them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. So let's hop straight into this interview.
Absolutely.
So, from being a child living in the Bahamas to now, you've always been creative, and creative writing has always been your thing, kind of your thing. What do you think has been the driving force behind your love for writing?
I would say it came early on watching TV and not seeing many actors that look like me or look like any
Mhm.
family. So I realized early on that there was a lack of diversity in Hollywood and entertainment and music and all those, places. And
Mhm.
me having a gift for that, I decided to start writing. I want to say at about 7, 8-ish, something like that. I started writing comic books and that went into plays and things like that. And I actually cut my teeth at church. It's my
Awesome.
first, yeah, my first stage play was at church. It was a short play, it was like a 5-minute type thing, a talent show. But yeah, that's how it started. Just watching TV and not seeing a lot of diversity and wanting to do what I saw. Yeah.
Right. That's so awesome. And it's so important because, kids, especially back in the day, but now as well, what I mean? They looked at the TV and they're looking for people that look like them,
Yeah.
families that look like them,
Yep.
and that represented, what they saw in their day to day. So it's very important the work that you do, and I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now, as a director, writer, and producer, you've achieved great success, particularly recently with
Yeah.
your 2020 film Home of the Brave,
Yeah.
which was featured as part of the Spotlighting Black Cinema collection on Fandango Now, the Roku channel, and Vudu.
Hmm. Yes.
So, what do you think has been the key to your success?
I would say having a great team. I have a really great team of people that work with me that make what I do seem really easy. It's still challenging, but we have a great team in place. Things kind of fall into place, and also consistency. You
Yes.
got to be always putting out something. If you're a musician, put out a song every year. If you're a writer, try to put out an article or short story or something. Me as a filmmaker, I make sure that I do at least one music video per year, or short film or something, so I have content out there for people to consume. So,
Yeah.
yeah, have a great team and stay consistent.
Very true. For sure. Those are two definite keys. And so, what would you consider to be the top three highlights from your career?
Um, I don't know if there's any particular thing, but the journey itself, we've had some, actually there are some, highlights and successes. Our first movie was picked up by Walmart, and that came as a shock to everybody because we shot that thing on a half a shoestring budget. So we weren't expecting any, if we had sold a few hundred copies, our friends and family would have been fine. But
Right.
our distributor showed it to Walmart, people at Walmart, and they really liked it and they picked it up, and it was available in stores all over the country. And that happened with our first movie. And again, it blew so.
Awesome.
So that kind of, was the catalyst to everything we're doing now. And
Mhm.
every movie we've put out, had something like that. We weren't expecting it. And, someone sees it and it ends up on a national platform. And but along with that, just the journey, the people I work with, we have a great time and we've become like a family. So we have, had successes, but the journey in of itself is, it's been a great one.
Definitely. I feel God's favor, what I mean? Like you said, you don't know where it comes from, but
Yeah.
different people have spoken and, joined you in
Yeah.
your journey and propelled you forward.
Yeah, it's very important. Once you start walking in your purpose, you will attract people who help you, achieve that purpose and execute those goals. But you have to start walking it. You have to start moving, towards it.
Yep, and you don't work, you don't eat. You know what I mean?
Stay
So you
busy.
said somewhere. For sure. And so, what are some of the challenges of being a director and a producer of family inspirational films and family, clean content in a culture that is sometimes opposed to that type of content? How did you blaze your own trail?
I grew up in church. I had a praying grandmother, Lord bless her.
Mhm.
And so that's how I started in the faith-based arena and all that stuff. And
Right.
you can do a lot, keeping things PG-13. All the movie they're PG-13, and they've made $100 gazillion. So I
Right.
think people, look at PG-13 like it's bad, but it's not. you can still, make creative, provocative, great content if you stay within PG-13. And we've done 3 movies so far, all of them in PG. We've had some great successes. We have 3 more movies planned, that are, in that family
Mhm.
friendly. So yeah, there are challenges. You see movies, filled with sex and violence and all that stuff.
Okay.
Making billions of dollars, and you aspire to that. But on the other hand, you have movies that are very successful, that are family movies. So
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And you think about Disney, the huge
yeah,
conglomerate Disney is buying up everybody.
exactly.
And they
And
make films for kids.
yeah, all G-rated and PG. So yeah, there are challenges, but we focus on our goals. We focus on that, and try to stay in our lane.
Yeah, for sure. And so, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received regarding the film industry from one of your mentors?
Um, Interesting question. The- I didn't have a lot of film mentors. Well, actually, I didn't have any, because there aren't any filmmakers in my family. I don't know any filmmakers aside from myself and my team. And a lot of filmmakers, they don't like to give information.
Okay.
Yeah, hold it real tight. So you got to kind of learn on your own, you
Right.
know. But I got some information from my pastor, Dr. Miles Monroe, and he
Oh,
said,
yes.
go out and try it. Even if it's, you don't have the resources, you're afraid, try it. Make sure when you die, you have no regrets, that you die empty. Meaning, if you have a book, write that book. If you have a movie, write that movie. If you have a song or album, make sure you put it out. Do not hesitate. You only have one life, so go and do it.
For
So
sure.
that's advice I got. Go and do it. Don't just talk about it. You have to do it.
They got to walk that walk as well as talk that talk in order for things to happen.
Yeah.
For sure. And so, if you could go back in time, knowing what you know now, and speak to yourself at the beginning of your career, what would you say to yourself?
Um, don't listen to the haters.
Hmm.
Read every contract twice and get an attorney. Very
Yeah.
important, filmmakers. Read your contracts. Get an attorney to help you with that as well. And don't be afraid to tell interesting stories outside of the box. So those 3 things right there, I would tell my younger self.
For sure. And so, what mistakes do you see rookie directors make, and what advice would you give to them in regards to that? So, you say, filmmakers, they don't like to share. So, what advice
Yeah,
would you give?
I'll share it with you, because we've made every mistake. We have made every yeah. Again, we didn't have a lot of filmmakers around us who were,
Right.
giving us jewels and things like that. So we learned all the mistakes as we were making films. But I would say, and honestly, the same mistakes that rookie filmmakers make, the veterans make as well.
True.
And I tell the people I work with all the time, we can't, stress too much when we make mistakes, because you have $100 million movies that flop all the time. You have $100 million movies with plot holes in them. You can see continuity errors.
Mm.
That happened recently with Game of Thrones, when someone left the star up in one of the sets. So yeah, that the mistakes independent and young filmmakers make, I see a lot of that from the big filmmakers as well. So, because it's one of those filmmakers, one of those things that's always evolving and
Yeah.
always, there's always something going on. There's so many things to keep your eyes on. So it's very easy to make a mistake and get bogged down in it if you focus
Hmm.
much.
Hmm.
So I would tell filmmakers, don't worry about the mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make a bunch of mistakes. We made a bunch of mistakes, and I'm sure we're gonna make some more in the next movie. But yeah, the same mistakes the independent guys are making, the big budget guys are making too. Same
True.
ones.
Very true. And so, tell us a little bit about what's coming up next for you.
Next, we have 3 projects right now in various stages of development. We have a love story, and that's the one I think that's the one we're gonna go with next. It's
Okay.
about a poet slash writer who falls in love with an actress.
Hmm.
And actress, she's kind of been in her comfort zone for a while now, and he is a master at living outside. He's always about growth and things like that. So
Yeah.
their personalities don't mesh at first, but
Right.
there's conflict, and they see the value in each other and fall in love. And yeah, it's one of those real sappy love stories, kind of like Love Jones or Love
Right. 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 Yes.
Old
That sounds
School
so
type.
sweet.
So yeah, that's the next one we might do. And that one is almost, I want to say, about halfway done now. And our goal is to release that like right around Valentine's Day of next year.
Okay.
That we have a ghost story that we're working on, not a horror story, but a ghost story that we're working on, with a very interesting twist. And it talks about the importance of having a father or a father figure
Mhm.
around, sons and daughters and things like that. So that's the second one. And the third one is another series we're working on as well. It's a 4-part series, 4 love stories. And the 4 love stories are family one, sons, daughters dealing with relationships with their parents. It's a love
Mhm.
story about a guy and a girl, a complicated love story, a love story that's way outside the box for us as well. So it's 4 stories told from different perspectives, but all the stories. So those are the next 3 projects we're working on, and we're going to be working on those probably for the next year and a half to 2 years. Yeah, like I said, the goal is to put something out every year. So yeah,
Awesome. We just got to keep plugging away. You know what I mean? And like you said, being consistent. Keep
consistent.
producing
Yeah,
content.
got to keep
Yeah,
going.
it's very important, like we talked about a little bit earlier, you know what I mean, to give children and young adults a representation of what, family structures, should look like.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And also represent family structures that are currently in our culture today. As
yes,
well. As you
yeah,
mentioned, talking about the importance of having a father figure, and,
yeah.
in the
I'm
life.
sure about 2 of our movies are driving that message home. Yeah, so that's at the forefront of what we're doing next.
Awesome, awesome. And so, how has the pandemic affected your work, and how have you pushed through?
It's been a double-edged sword. It's
Mhm.
it slowed us down. We just finished a project called Church Folks. We spent about a year working,
Mhm.
invested about $100,000, and we had to put it on pause for about. It's been sitting on my hard drive now since I want to say February. Finished,
Mhm.
and yeah, if everything goes well, it should finally be released this month, later on this month. So pray. Yeah, we've been sitting on this thing, and this is our most, this is the one we stretched ourselves with. We really dug into our pockets and really spent a lot of time working on this one. And
Mhm.
boom, pandemic. So that's on pause. We're hoping we're gonna get it out this month. So yeah, hopes and prayers. Yeah,
Awesome,
so,
awesome.
but aside from that, I've been
Yeah.
doing a lot of writing. That's the upside to it. Everyone in the team, I have about 4 writers I'm working with right now, and we're all writing projects. So it slowed us down to do some writing. So once we get back into filming, we have enough content to shoot for a couple years.
Awesome. So, like you said, a double-edged sword, but God is still in the blessing business
Yes, yeah,
during the pandemic, which is so
yeah. This downtime, all the ideas you had that you were sitting on, you should be working on right now. You should be writing those stories, writing those songs, writing those books. Because
yes,
this thing has slowed the entire world down, but it's not all bad. You can look for the silver lining, being able to, tap into those creative things that may have been on the back burner for a while.
for sure. Awesome. And so, unfortunately, we have come to the end of this episode of the Black Motivation Podcast. But I want to take a second to thank you so much for sharing
Oh,
your journey with us on this episode, Deon. Thank
you're,
you.
thank you.
And so, what words of inspiration would you like to leave our guests with on this episode of Black Motivation Podcast?
Um, do not quit. Do not quit at all. I know musicians and filmmakers put out one movie or CD or book and quit. Put on another one. If that doesn't work, put on another one. If that doesn't work, put on another one. Every time you put something out, there's a wall up. Hollywood has a wall up. All these big time authors and publishers, they have a wall up. The music industry has a wall up. But every time you put something out, you chip away at that wall. And eventually something you put out is going to break that wall, and you're going to be able to walk through it. So that's what we're focusing on, and that's what I would give everybody out there. Do not give up. I know that 9 to 5 is comfortable. I know. Not give up your dreams, okay? Keep on plugging away at it.
Awesome. And so, how can we find you, and how can we follow your films on the web and social media?
You can find our films on Amazon.com as well as Tubi. The Green Grass, that's our recent movie. Home of the Brave came out right before that, and Encounter with the Messiah, our first movie, is there as well. So Home of the Brave, Encounter with the Messiah, and Green Grass, they're all on Amazon and on Tubi.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. I hope that everyone who's watching, thank you for watching, and have a great night.
Thank you too.